What's wrong with college football besides the playoff? Scheduling, and Bama is a prime example. Next, Mark Rogers TV, the voice of college football. We're talking Tide here at the voice of college football, Mark Rogers TV. But before I do, of course, you can help us build the channel by grabbing the Amazon link in the description section below. Use that link, and you help us continue to deliver the best in discussion, debate, and analysis in college football. And also, join our Voice of College Football community, of course. Would you love to talk college football with me? Whether that's a nice, pleasurable conversation or to take me up on a particular topic and debate, then please join our community, the Voice of College Football community, where I deliver one exclusive live stream each and every week where I bring you on to talk college football with me. The other exclusive live stream every week is my reaction to your viewer comments, more than 40,000 this year to date. So thank you for the response to the content. So before I dive into the Alabama schedule, this is basically what's wrong with college football, and it's not Alabama's fault, but they're able to make whatever schedule they want. And the result is 4 non-conference games that result in embarrassing games and inconsequential games and games that are not meaningful and don't give us an indication of who the best teams are in the country because the best teams don't generally play each other. They play one decent team out of conference and then hide during the rest of the conference, non-conference scheduling. And for Alabama, that meant Louisville, a 2-10 team, 0-8 in the ACC last year. And it meant Duke being placed on this season's schedule as number 1 at the top of the list in terms of the schedule chronology. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing for college football. It's not right. It's a joke. It needs to be corrected. And I have, of course, the plan. And I've explained that a few times and will again at a later date. Scheduling is not difficult. People make it difficult. Scheduling is not difficult. We can achieve success and fairness and objectivity in scheduling that will produce better games, more meaningful games, and a better perspective on the results when teams need to be evaluated and judged at the end of the season. We can't do that now, but let's look at Alabama's schedule. Duke in Atlanta. Boy, can't wait for that one. Duke, Alabama in Atlanta. I have no issue with Duke playing Alabama. It's that this is their most difficult non-conference game out of 4. That's the problem. Okay, New Mexico State's game number 2, September 7th. And then with only 2 non-conference games in the books, Alabama will step into SEC play on the road against South Carolina in Columbia. A game of note, of course, was as defending national champion in 2010, Alabama went on the road to Columbia and dropped a 2-touchdown affair to South Carolina in 2010 in a relative down year for Nick Saban at 10-3. They go on the road to South Carolina September 14th, followed up by Southern Miss at home September 21st, and they conclude the first month of the season against Ole Miss at home. Then Alabama starts out October by resting bye week to get set for this stretch of Texas A&M on the road, Tennessee and Arkansas. Not difficult. So what is key in the SEC is, of course, who you play in the other division, and that's been another easy ride for the Tide in recent years in playing Tennessee every year. Of course, Tennessee has been one of the stalwart programs in the SEC historically, but they have been a non-factor for the most part for the last 12 years. And Alabama gets to play them each and every year. Then the other game rotates, and that, of course, was the South Carolina game. All right, so October is bye week, Texas A&M on the road, Tennessee and Arkansas, and that Texas A&M game, considering it's on the road, and the Aggies actually played Alabama better than anyone in the regular season. It was a one-score game in the third quarter. Now it's on the road at Kyle Field. That could be the trap game, or not necessarily a trap game based on the way the schedule plays out, but in regards to the difficulty of game, or, of course, it's the LSU game in which Bama will have a bye again before its 2 most difficult games of the season, before Texas A&M on the road and before LSU on November 9th Nick Saban gets a bye. Isn't that nice? LSU and Mississippi State back-to-back that's the toughest stretch I can find on this schedule. LSU, Mississippi State back-to-back. And then they finish off with, of course, the scrimmage game against Western Carolina, the traditional scrimmage, before the Iron Bowl against Auburn. So there you have it. It's Duke and a bunch of nothing on the non-conference schedule. It's Tennessee, of course, in the rivalry matchup, non-division, and it's a date against South Carolina on September 14th. The big dates against Texas A&M and LSU. What turns out to be the 11th most difficult schedule based on basically the strength of the SEC West and having to play LSU, Auburn, and Texas A&M in particular, and to a lesser degree, South Carolina in the East and also Mississippi State. But nothing in the non-conference. Duke's going to be marginal, probably a 6-6 team. It's the 22nd most difficult schedule in college football as Bama continues to play in the toughest division in college football, although they don't have to play themselves. Would love to know what you have to say about Alabama's schedule, the record projection, which I have at Alabama 11-1, 7-1 in the SEC. Will that be good enough? And will that be my final prediction? We shall see later in August. Would love to get your record projection. And, of course, have you shop at Amazon using the link below. And also join us at our Voice of College Football community where, man, come on and talk college football with me. Here at Mark Rogers TV, the Voice of College Football, we'll be back with schedule number 21.